Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We would love to welcome everyone to Monmouth Reformed Temple. The prayer book that we're using tonight is Mishkan Tefillah, which is in the pew right in front of you. And it's also a Chag. Right after Yom Kippur, we started Sukkot, and there's a sukkah out and back in which people come and eat. And we're going to say some blessings over the lulav and the etrog in just a moment. So I'm going to grab them. I just want to show you what they look like. And I'm going to come over here for a moment and say hello to everyone on live stream. This is a lulav. And it represents not only different types of learners, but it also represents different types of our body put together. So this part represents our spine and reminds us that we need to stand straight for Jewish values and to stand up for other people who can't stand for themselves. There is the myrtle, which look like your mouth. And they remind us that we need to watch what we say and speak carefully, because as we know, words can either build someone up or they can absolutely destroy people. And we want to use them to build people up rather than have them be destroyed by hate. And the willow represents, oh wait, I said this?
Yeah, now we're at the eyes. Now we're at the eyes.
Yeah, we're at the eyes now.
Luckily, she's not a surgeon. Okay.
No.
But you're very good with this.
That's very true.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, no one would ever want me as a surgeon.
No, I didn't say that. Okay.
Someone asked me if I was a mohel once, and I said, no, you don't want me. Your child will never have a normal life again. But this represents your eyes. And it reminds us that as we walk around through life, we need to keep our eyes open to stand up for those around us. And so during Sukkot, we sit outside in a very impermanent structure. There's skach on the top, which is usually corn or wheat. It's something that we can look through so that we can see the stars at night and the sun by day. And it's meant to be impermanent. It reminds us, as we finish Yom Kippur and think about our lives, that we move into the sukkah and we're put in the middle of nature, not only historically, but also physically, to remind us that life is not always full at times, that sometimes what you think is strong shakes. And the book that we read on Sukkot is Ecclesiastes, which, I'll share some of it, but it's about life's ups and downs. And it's very beautiful. So we're going to begin by saying the blessings. Cantor, would you like to sing them?
No.
No.
I think they're.
We already said them before.
Yeah. No, I think they're better said. They're better said.
You can find the blessings in your prayer book on page 571.
It's not that I don't want to sing them, and I just think they're better read.
Well, I did them.
That was
Would you
very-
like to do them? Because I did them already
All
outside.
right. Okay. Sure. So, the one thing the rabbi left out is this represents your heart.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Again, not a cardiologist.
No.
I was taught that you start with it down and then you turn it up.
No, I was taught that you...
Turn it the
Yeah.
other way?
Yeah.
We're going to do it her way. Here we go. So, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al nitilat lulav.
And it gets shaken in all directions to remind us that God is everywhere.
This happens to be a very fragrant
Yeah.
etrog. We got a really beautiful one this year. So, also, you want to be careful not to break this. It supposedly will become unkosher if you do. So be careful. We hope you will shake it, but be careful with it.
And that little stem is called a pitom. If you're in Israel and you want to find out how someone's doing, you say, ma pitom, which kind of means, what's up? So it's interesting that the same word is used.
That is interesting.
We turn to page 664. as we join together in the singing of Ufros Aleinu.
And this is a song relative to Sukkot because it talks about Sukkot Shalomecha, the Sukkah of peace that we want to spread over us and all the world, and maybe by singing it, it will come true. 664. Ufros Aleinu Sukkot, Sukkot, Shalomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukkot, Sukkot, Shalomecha. I think it's faster now. Yai nai nai nai, yai nai nai nai, yai nai 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 nai, yai nai nai nai, yai nai nai nai, yai nai 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 nai. Back to Ufros. Ufros Aleinu Sukkot, Sukkot, Shalomecha.
We turn back in our prayer books to page 120 as we invite up Aaron Welsh and his parents. Aaron becomes a bar mitzvah tomorrow morning. And if anyone has time, please come. He has studied so hard, and I promise you, he does an exceptional job, because that's who he is.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
I noticed you really moved away when he went to the candle.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kinshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'halak ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kinshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Shel Shabbat.
The heaven and the earth were finished and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God has done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Give one cup to your mother, you keep a cup.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kinshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kosho b'ahava ufton hin halanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom tehillah l'mikra'e kodesh zefer zad mitzrayim kivanu v'harta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim Shabbat Koshecha Be'ahava Uvratzon Hin Haltanu Baruch Atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat.
Have a sit. Amen. L'chaim.
Mazel tov to Julie and Scott and Aaron and your entire family.
How do you feel? You ready for tomorrow now?
No.
I think he is. Doesn't everyone think he is? Okay, we think you are. So please come back tomorrow, okay? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Mazel tov.
I just want to share how ready he is. We had to turn the Torah to his portion from one of the high holiday portions, and he was looking along as the Cantor was turning the Torah, and the two of us were trying to find the portion, and Aaron, it's right there. So,
It's wonderful.
thank you for helping us.
Absolutely wonderful. I
Yeah.
agree.
We turn to page 146 as we rise for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
On page 148, we read in the Hebrew slowly together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhma poter sha'arim, uvitbuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtsono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai Sivaot Shemo, El Chai v'kayam, tamid yimlo le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Ama'ariv Aravim. On page 151, we read together at the bottom of the page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works in the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael B'Ahava. The Shema is found on page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווה היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
On the top of page 157, I think this reading is so important to us through all times. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, and that there's a better way, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
The Mi Chamocha is special for the holiday. And in Jewish worship, if you didn't know what the calendar was, in theory, you're supposed to be able to go to the synagogue and hear the melodies that are being sung and know what time of year it is. And so, there's a joke that is, how come every time I come to synagogue, the Cantor singing Kol Nidre? You get the joke? Okay. All right. So that's sort of emblematic of, but so the music changes. And so for this holiday, the Mi Chamocha is supposed to sound like the shaking lulav. Okay, I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying it's supposed to. So here we go. Mi Chamocha banim Adonai, Mi Kamocha nedar b'kodesh. This is the shaky part. Nora tehilot osei vele malhutecha ra'u vanecha mokei hayam livnei Moshe Miriam zeni anu Adonai imloch leolam va'ed Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. If you're ever on Jeopardy and there's an audio daily double, and you hear that, you'll know that's the Mi Chamocha for Sukkot. Could happen.
I don't know if that could be a category.
I don't think it is.
They could do, what is this?
That's true. That's true.
That would be a good one.
It would be.
Yeah.
We should give them the question.
Yes. The Jewish version.
So we would win.
It's probably the only way we would win. I should speak for myself.
No, I fall into that category. Here we go.
On page 160, we find the prayer Hashkivenu, which traditionally we said before we went to bed at night. And it reminds us that God spreads a shelter of peace over us. The rabbis believed that sleep was 1/60th of death. And so they were terrified every time they went to sleep that they wouldn't wake up again. And so they would recite this prayer and give their soul over to God, knowing that when they woke up in the morning, there was a companion prayer to say, thank you, God, for allowing me to wake up. Hashkivenu.
We join together. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, vehamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, vehamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha, ushmor tzitenu uvoenu. Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha, ushmor tzitenu uvoenu. Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, vehamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Baruch atah
Adonai, Aporei Sukkot Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
We turn to page 164 as we rise for the tefillah.
Adonai sefatatiftach ufi yagim tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, V'hanara, Eliyod, Gomer Hasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zoher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Mevi Gola Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo V'yahava, Melech Ozer Moshe Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Echol atah Rav Nehoshia, Morid Hatah, Mechalkei Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berakamim Rabim, Zomich Noflim Be'ofei Koholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim Emunato Lishei Hafar. Micha Mocha Baal Givurot, Umida Melach, Melech Meimit Umechayeh, Umatziach Yeshua, V'neman Atan Hachayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye Hakol. Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kedoshim Hoyam Yahalu Chasela, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'il HaKadosh.
I'm going to invite everyone to please take a seat and to choose one of the intermediary prayers from page 172 through page 178 to read to yourself. The intermediate prayers for Shabbat are all about expressing gratitude and thanks for everything that we have in the world that we encounter. On Shabbat, we're only allowed to ask for two things, and as we know, that's peace and healing for those that we love and those that we know. And so take a moment and choose a reading that you haven't focused on for a while and read it silently.
We sing our Song of Peace on page 178.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Nasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Nasim Le'olam. Ki Atah Melech Kadosh השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We live in a very noisy world. Wherever you are, there's a sound of phones going off or buzzes and beeps and people talking to each other. And it's so important that we sit in silence. One of the Hebrew words for prayer is the reflexive lehitpalel, which means to take stock of where you are in your life, to do a check-in. So services are not only about connecting to the community and reaching out to God, but it's also connecting with yourself. And so I ask, as we take moments of silence, that you do a check-in with your heart and your soul and your mind.
Oh, say shalom b'ramav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'ako Yisrael, v'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'ako Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'alko 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 Yisrael.
We turn to page 366 in our prayer book for Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of Torah. Please rise.
Susharim Rosheichem v'chinasu pitchei olam v'yavo melech hakavod. Carry this one. Mehuiz melech hakavod Adonai Tzvaot u'melech hakavod Selah u'melech hakavod Selah Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Eloheinu Adon Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Adonai hagedula, hagevura, v'hatiferet, v'hanitzavehu. Ki chol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz, ki chol b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Lecha Adonai amalacha, ani nasi lechol rosh. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omi. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omi. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim. V'ha'ernenu b'toratecha v'nabek b'neinu b'mitzvotecha v'niyachid levahavenu le'ahava u'yirah et shemecha v'lo nivosh le'olam vayim v'lo nivosh le'olam vayim v'ha'ernenu b'toratecha v'nabek b'neinu b'mitzvotecha v'niyachid levahavenu le'ahava u'yirah et shemecha.
Please be seated. Our Torah portion tonight is a special one for Chol HaMoed Sukkot, the middle of Sukkot. It's from the book of Exodus, Parsha Ki Tisa, which, as we know, is the golden calf. But at the end of this Parsha, there's a very interesting section, which Aaron will chant tomorrow and teach about. Moses asked God and says to God several times, if I have found favor in your sight, please let me see you and let me live. And God says, no, sorry, no one can see me and live. And Moses continues to ask and ask and ask and ask, and everything I've done for you, Moses, everything I've done for you, God, you can't let me see a little bit of you? And God takes Moses and put him in the crag of a rock. And Moses is able to see God's acharav, the word is. And it means his after. It doesn't mean he's able to see his back. It means he's able to see whatever you feel after you see God. And when talking to students, I usually say that, you can't feel wind if you're inside. You can see it, and you can see how it affects the trees around you. And you can't see love. You don't see hearts flying around and little cupids with arrows shooting them here and there and there and there. But you feel love. And it's the same way as feeling God's afterwards, after presence. And so this is the parsha that I read when I became a bat mitzvah several thousand years ago. And I thought I would remember it, like most people do remember their Torah portion from becoming a bat or bar mitzvah, and I don't. So I had to review it again. Oh. Cantor?
Exodus 33.
Hang on.
Yeah, Exodus 33.
12.
Did you call me? So, okay, this is funny, but no one's going to believe this. So, you know how you go to the mechanic and your car makes a sound all the time, and you go to the mechanic and it doesn't make that sound? So for 3 weeks, there's been sound coming out of the tower in the sound closet that's not supposed to come out of there. Our sound guy doesn't believe me. He's been by, he says it doesn't happen. So I just went to record it, to send it to him, and that's where I was. So, because, yes. So how can I help?
I was just wondering if you could turn to Exodus 33
In my
and tell
prayer
us,
book?
and tell
I'll
us
tell you
what
prayer.
page it's on.
Okay, well, if you don't think I'm too.
Sorry to take you from your, recording.
I didn't tell you. And when he comes in, he tells Jordana, I don't know what I'm talking about, so everyone thinks I'm that. So I feel a sense I need to vindicate myself.
So 33:12 is on 657.
657, thank you, Alice.
655, 657. Here we go.
Okay,
33, line what?
12.
33:12.
657. Alice is right.
Ooh, everyone's tuning in.
I know. That's good.
Baruch hu Adonai and Barak.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai and Barak Leolam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
ויאמר משה אל אדוני ראה אתה אמור על האל את העם הזה ואתה לא הודיעתני את אשר תשלח אמור ואתה אמרת ידעתיך בשם וגם מצווה הן בעיני ואתה אם נא מצאתי חן בעיניך הודיעתני נא את דרך ואראה למען אמצע, thank you, חן בעיניך וראה כי עמך הגוי הזה ויאמר פרי יאכלו והביאתני לך ויאמר אליו אם אין פניך oh I think I went over but I'm going to keep going הלכים אל תחוני מזה, במה ידע אפוא כי מצוותי חן בעיניך, אני עמך הלא באתך עמנו ונפלינו, אני ועמך מכל העם אשר על פני האדמה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher natan lanu Torat emet. V'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Please rise as we dress the Torah.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. Nai 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 nai
While the Torah is standing next to us, we turn to Mishaberach on page 371, and we offer blessings of healing in body, spirit, soul, and mind for Rabbi Robert Orak, Martha Branween, Nancy Keller Coffey, Jessica Knight, Niles Choper, Judith Landau, Pam Friedman, Myra Taxa, Linda Kaplan, Michael Lynch, Elizabeth Castellano, Debbie Stroh, Jane Hilson Aiello, Yvette Urado, Yaakova Leah Bat Ruven Veliber Bracha, Rachel Rosen, Irene King, Cor Tashman, John Mish, Linda Mish, Felice Burns, Jay Strike, Mary Yaros, Rabbi Leslie Bergson, Wayne Hallard, Grace Doctorow, and David Dunn. If there's anyone else that you're thinking of at this time, please state their name as my eyes meet yours. Thank you. Thank you. Yes,
Nancy Butler and Ronnie Butler.
thank you.
Carolyn Ben Shack.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lori Blum.
My friend Corinne.
Thank you.
Spiller.
Thank you.
Shayla, Riley, Jada, and Laura.
Okay.
Ryan Hilliard, Tom Pendlebury, Wood Martin.
Thank you. We pray that they may all experience a healing, or at least find some peace. And we join together in the singing of Misha Berach.
Beirach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Deimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Beirach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha De'avotenu. The stars in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We return the Torah to the Ark, and we turn to page 374 for Eitz Chaim.
Eitz Chaim hi למחזיקיך ותומכך מאושר לרחך רק לנוע בכל נתיבותיך שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה עדי שמינו כקדם עדי שמינו כקדם.
Please be seated. This is going to be short because I know you're all sick of hearing from me.
No, we're not. We didn't have you at Rosh Hashanah.
That's true.
Okay.
But you had my words.
Yes, but not you.
And
So-
one of my good friends.
Saturate us. Saturate.
Saturate you with learning. That which has been is what shall be, and that which is done is what shall be done. There is nothing new under the sun. From Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9. Mordecai Kaplan, may his memory be for a blessing, the founder of Reconstructionist Judaism, taught homiletics, which is the art of giving sermons, at Jewish Theological Seminary, which is the conservative seminary in Manhattan. One day, a young student delivered a sermon, and Kaplan said, "Very nice." The student was relieved until he came back to class a week later. Kaplan then harshly criticized the same sermon that he said very nice to the week before. The student said, "I don't get it. Last week you liked it." And Kaplan replied, "I've changed since last week."
Maybe he needs medication.
Probably. I think of that sermon often during Sukkot because it has a different Torah portion than our weekly regular Torah portion. remember what I wrote about last Sukkot, and I couldn't tell you what I wrote about as I became a bat mitzvah in 1986. I can't tell you even what I wrote about 2 weeks ago. And I can't tell you that because I don't usually keep my sermons. My mother keeps them, and if I need to be reminded, my mom sends them to me. The reason that I don't keep my sermons is because I'm a different person every time we read the Torah, and I see something completely different in it. Some years when I read the Torah, it is completely clear, like I'm looking in a mirror, and I say, whoa, this Torah portion is really where I'm at. I especially say that when I see students and realize the Torah portion that they have and believe that there's some kind of mystical connection because every student gets the Torah portion that they need to hear. And that seems to be about them. But then there are some years when I read Torah and there's a patina covering it. And as much as I try to scrub it and look at the words in different ways, I can't see myself there. And that's why we continue to read the Torah over and over and over again, not because the Torah changes, but because we change. We change perspectives. We change how we feel from year to year. One of the great debates of Western civilization is whether everything changes or nothing changes. The pre-Socratic Greek philosophers fought famously over this issue. Heracles famously said, "You cannot step in the same river twice. The water level, the flow, everything is different each time. The world is in flux." On the other hand, his opponent Parmenides taught that change is an illusion. Change means the creation of something new that didn't exist before. Therefore, something comes from nothing. He said, what is, what's not, is not. This argument about change also divided the ancient pagans from the ancient Hebrews. To the pagans, nothing ever changed. But when we look at Judaism, and we look at Ecclesiastes, and we look at our lives, everything changes. Even the same prayers that we read, that we've read for thousands of years during the high holidays, seem to change each and every year. The first chapter of Ecclesiastes, which has a little bit of cynicism, was attributed to King Solomon in his old age. And we traditionally study Ecclesiastes on this Chol HaMoed Sukkot. Some of his words are extremely beautiful. One generation passes away, and another generation comes, but the earth abides forever. Or this verse, all the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place from where the rivers come, there they return again. Ecclesiastes 1:7. And of course, the verse that I started with, there's nothing new under the sun. Perhaps the most important verse in this chapter describes the inability of humans to change. That which is crooked cannot be made straight. Verse 15. Ecclesiastes says that we as human beings are victims of our nature, not able to change. The book of Ecclesiastes almost didn't make it into our Tanakh because it was so cynical. The Bible takes a different approach. Not only can everything change, but change is desirable. When we look at our forefather Abraham, who was living in his father's house until he was 77 years old, living with his wife, and God called to him and said, Abraham, and he said, Hineni, and God said, go. It's time for you to move out from your land and go to the land that I will show you. And Abraham did just that. And if we look at our ancestors, they all encountered change in a different way, even through their relationship with God. We all encounter change in our lives. The poem that I read on Rosh Hashanah, which was written by the Orthodox Rabbi, said that it's time for us to get a new Torah, a time for a new Talmud, a time for a new Midrash, a time for celebrating new rituals and creating rituals, and that it's time to bring Judaism into the modern age. I shared it because it was very unusual from the source in which it came. We've just completed the Jewish high holidays of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And the theme of those holidays is the possibility of change, of repentance, of transformation. We are not bound by our past, but we can create a better future by ourselves, for ourselves. We enter these holy days exploring what we felt like in the past year and how we can be better in the coming year. We become renewed once again. Or as the former chief rabbi of what would become the state of Israel famously said, "The old shall be made new, and the new shall be made holy." Let us each do our parts to create rituals and to transform Judaism into something that speaks to everyone where they are in life. And so that when we read the Torah, and we're supposed to study with at least two people so that we get at least two perspectives or three perspectives, as the joke goes, we learn something new each and every year. We celebrate on Simchat Torah the giving of the Torah at Sinai. May we turn it around and around and around and learn something new and fascinating every year. The Torah is beautiful, and we only get a tiny portion of what's in an entire portion during the year. And so I'd like to ask everyone to take time to make Jewish learning important in your lives. It will change you. It's not your grandparents' Jewish learning. It's our Jewish learning. And when we come together and bring who we are and where we are, the Torah is completely changed by the way that we see it, by our different perspectives, and by bringing our compassion in reading it. Please join us on Tuesday mornings for our Tuesday class. We are starting next week looking at the Haftorot, the additional portions that are attached to the Torah portions, where they came from, who the prophet was, who spoke them, what the prophet's life was about, and the time in history in which they were written. So we're getting a whole full new experience. And in the Tuesday class, things change often. We spend 6 weeks studying that, and then we go to this, and then we go to that, or whatever's happening in the world, or whatever anyone wants to study. Last year, the class asked for Jewish philosophers. So I put together, in that week, 8 weeks on Jewish philosophy and Jewish philosophers. I'm willing to change, and I'm willing to learn. Because every time I study with other people, I realize how much there is left to learn. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We turn to page 586 for Aleinu as we rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tei gedula l'yotzer brishit, shehurat hashamayim v'yotzer haaretz, moshav yikaro b'shamayim imah, u'shkinatu zo b'govhei meromim, hu Eloheinu einod, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'nemar, V'haya Adonai, Lemelech al kol haaretz, V'yom hahu, Yiyeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad.
turn to page 592. This poem is called Epitaph, and it was written by Merritt Malloy. When I die, give what's left of me to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. So look for me and the people I've loved. If you cannot let me live in your eyes, let me live in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch bodies and by letting go of children that need to be free. You see, love never dies. So when all that's left of me is love, please give me away. We remember those whose yahrzeit falls this week: Phil Alter, Irene Botterman, Harry Braunstein, Maxine Bick, Theodore Cambria, Bernard Cohen, Jim Cook, Charles Cooper, Eric Davis, John Clifford Devine, Diane Figus, Dora Friedman, Larry Ginsberg, Hein Gunzenberger, Ida Hoffman, Rose Cardane, Sidney Katz, William I. Klatsky, Samuel Kramer, Roberta Macau, Stephen Schwerk, Gerald G. Silverman, Sheldon Spitz, Frank Welton, Maury Wenig, and Sean Woods. If there is anyone else that we should remember at this time, please state their name as my eyes meet yours.
Joseph Kellner.
Jewish tradition is about memory. Most of us are named after people that were important to our parents, and we continue to name our kids after people who were important to us. We stand on the foundation of those who came before us, and it's a pretty firm foundation. And so we remember them, and we remember how we felt in their presence as we turn to page 598 and recite the words of the Kaddish. Yitkadal v'kadash shmei Rabba, v'yalmad divrach hirtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayekon u'vyomechon v'chayeh beit Israel, v'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam momaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudusha rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen.
Say shalom b'mramav, u'ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Please be seated. Our closing
Wait,
song.
let Bob-
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Bob. Bob St. Leifer has some announcements that he would like to share with us tonight.
Thank you, Rabbi, for those beautiful words. But don't forget, there is Torah study on Saturday
Oh,
morning.
and Torah study on Shabbat mornings is fabulous.
Yes. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Bob St. Leifer. On behalf of MRT, I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us tonight in person or on live stream. More information about the following events can be found in the weekly e-blast. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. is the bar mitzvah of Aaron Welsh. Mazel tov to the Welsh family. Join the men's club for a potluck dinner in the Sukkah on Monday, October 21st, 6 p.m. The MRT Adult B'nai Mitzvah class begins Tuesday, the 22nd at 6:30 p.m. Let the office know if you'd like to sign up. Also, on Wednesday morning, the 23rd at 10 a.m., there will be a Sukkot Yizkor service right here in the sanctuary, 10 a.m. Please join us for a special Simchat Tov and religious school consecration, Shabbat service on Friday, October 25th, including klezmer music and dancing, a very delicious dinner to follow. Please RSVP.
Please RSVP.
Dror Israel is this month's recipient of the Tzedakah Box collection. Dror Israel is a pioneering educational movement whose mission is to effect meaningful long-term educational and social change in Israeli society. The aim of the young educators and social workers is to promote solidarity, social activism, democracy, and equality in communities throughout the land. Eleanor Rubin is sponsoring this collection. If you're celebrating a special occasion or observing a loved one's yahrzeit, we hope you will consider sponsoring an oneg to honor the occasion. Contact the main office for more information. MRT would love for more people to invest in our mission of connecting as a Jewish community. We welcome your investment of time as well as donations to help us grow. For information on joining our MRT family or making a donation, please contact Jordan in our office or visit our website. Rabbi Edelman and Cantor Clissold are always available as well. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. And thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
I just want to share some information about the Adult B'nai Mitzvah class. It begins at 6 o'clock with Hebrew. If anyone wants to learn prayer book Hebrew, learn how to read what we pray, please come join us. It's open to everyone, and that's from 6 to 6:40. After that, there's dinner, and then we'll be studying. And there are many people who are coming who want to become B'nai Mitzvah, and there are others who are coming because they want to keep studying. So if you're part of that group, please come and join us. We have a wonderful class. Magda and I will be teaching together, as will the Cantor, and we welcome everyone. So our closing song.
I have a story about our closing song.
Oh, please.
So our closing song is on page 664. And as the rabbi was teaching us, it is traditional to read from the book of Ecclesiastes at Sukkot. Most of the holidays get a special additional book. I'll give you the easy one first. What is the special book we read at Purim?
Megillah.
Esther. Okay, all right. And not a lot of people know this. The book we read at Passover is Song of Songs. And during this holiday, during Sukkot, we read Ecclesiastes. And in the summer, with Tisha B'Av, we read from the book of Lamentations. So there are these special books that go throughout the year. Just coincidentally, I was practicing the music with Evan before the service. Evan is the organist at the Methodist Church in Red Bank. And he said, we're doing that same text this Sunday. But for no special reason, it just came to him that they should do that text in a song. And it turns out to be traditional in our prayer cycle to have it this time of year. I thought that was a beautiful coincidence. Mm-hmm. And thank you, Evan. The rabbi and I want to take this time, Evan, to thank you for always predicating and being the strength behind what we do.
My pleasure.
100%.
So this was made popular in the 1960s, I think by the Yardbirds. Okay, here we go. The Birds or the Yardbirds? To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To every
everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace. A time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rent, a time to sow, a time of love, a time of hate, a time of peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven.
I would love to call up to the Bima to lead us in Motzi, someone who is incredibly special to me, my landlord, not really my landlord, my dear friend, who has a lot of stuff in his drawers. We share drawers together, not those kind, but these kind. So Leonard, please come up and join us on the Bima.
Leonard Teitelbaum, in case you don't know him, very special to all of us.
The biggest mensch anyone will ever meet.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Over there?
No, he wants to go over with you.
Under here.
Under there, yeah.
That's a Michigan kippah, everybody.
Go blue.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ha'moitzi lecha min ha'aretz.
Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Enjoy the beautiful oneg inside.
Everybody makes mistakes. But me. Yeah. No, I don't.
Hello there.
Letting you know, if you don't get that fast enough, you're not gonna see it. Thank you. And for that, oh, like a Kingston tree? Yes. Say Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Slip me up.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's really? It still happens?
Oh, it does. They'll count they will count everything. Do you know what you're gonna be? You won't slip.
No one will know except for, no, he won't. He won't slip up. He's amazing. Yeah, come back and I'll tell you how great he is. Yeah, so, yeah, and honestly, that's why I didn't see so much.